Okay, for any medical practice, let's be real. The clock is always ticking. But imagine you're launching a brand new practice or you're trying to get your data migrated and it's just not going to be ready for your big go live date. That tick-tock of the clock starts to sound like a countdown to total chaos. You're stuck chasing down records, trying to read somebody's handwriting. It's a mess. But what if you could just sidestep all of that and build perfect patient charts right from day one?
Seriously, just think about that for a second. Imagine a world where every single patient chart is complete, it's verified, and it's sitting there ready for the provider before the appointment even starts. This isn't some far-off dream. It is absolutely the result of a smart, digital-first workflow. So let's break down exactly how you can make this a reality in your practice.
And this slide really just says it all, doesn't it? On the left, you've got the old way, the clipboard chaos, the inevitable mistakes from trying to type in what someone else scribbled down. On the right, that's the new way. It's clean, it's patient-driven, it's digital. It creates one single reliable source of truth right from the very beginning. So what's the engine driving this big change? Well, it's called patient-driven intake. And the idea behind it is actually really simple, but so powerful. You empower the patient to provide their own information on their own time through a secure online portal. And the key is this all happens before they ever set foot in your office. This completely front-loads all that work and it changes everything that comes after. The entire process really just boils down to these three key phases. It's a beautiful, simple system. First, the patient does all the heavy lifting with the initial data entry. Then your clinical staff. They act as the first line of defense, the first check, verifying and reviewing all that information. And finally, the provider gives that last confirmation during the actual encounter. It's a perfect system of checks and balances that guarantees both accuracy and compliance. And just look at the sheer amount of information the patient is giving you here. This is so much more than just, an address and an insurance card. We are talking their complete medical history, surgical history, family history, social history, allergies, medications, even detailed GYN and OB history. All of this data flows directly from the source, the patient, and populates the chart before the visit even begins. Now this right here, this is the absolute non-negotiable safety step. Nothing a patient enters ever goes into the permanent chart automatically. No way. It first lands in a kind of holding area, a pending review queue, where a trained staff member, like a nurse or an MA, has to physically verify every single piece of information. This human checkpoint is absolutely critical for quality control. So let's walk through how this actually plays out on the day of the visit. It's incredibly smooth. The patient arrives, the front desk just confirms the intake is done. Easy. The MA or nurse then preps the chart, clicking through and reviewing each section. When they're rimming the patient, they just verbally confirm a few key things. And the result? The provider walks into the room, opens the encounter, and it's already filled with rich, verified information. It's ready to go. And here we have the final, and I mean critical link in the chain for all this data. The provider has to personally confirm that they have reviewed the patient's online history right there in the encounter. Now, this isn't just good practice, it's a key requirement. The system actually logs this action, creating a digital audit trail that supports both your medical legal compliance and, you guessed it, proper billing. A workflow this smooth doesn't just happen by magic. It absolutely requires that every single person on the team knows their exact role. That clarity is what creates accountability and turns a bunch of separate tasks into one seamless, efficient process. So let's break down who does what. This table just lays it out perfectly. The patient is responsible for getting that initial data in. The front desk handles the check-in and the admin side of things. The MA or nurse performs that vital clinical verification. And the provider, they own the final review and documentation. See? Each role is totally distinct, with these crystal clear handoffs from one person to the next. Okay, so we've covered the how and the who. Now for the most important part, the why. What's the real payoff for putting a digital-first intake like this into place? Well, let me tell you, the benefits in efficiency, accuracy, and compliance they're just massive. Let's start with the thing we can all appreciate: time. The data shows that this workflow saves 5 to 7 minutes per patient visit. Now, multiply that by every single patient you see in a day, in a week, in a month. That's not just saved time, that's time you can now reinvest into actual patient care, or maybe even seeing more patients. It adds up fast.
But it really isn't just about the time. You are also dramatically cutting down on those pesky data entry errors that always happen with manual transcription. You're building a much more complete, compliant, and legally defensible medical record. You're improving the patient's experience by showing you respect their time, and most importantly, you're hitting that initial goal we talked about. The chart is 100% ready before the provider even says hello.
So as we wrap up, I'm just going to leave you with this one question to think about. Take a hard look at how your practice currently handles patient intake. Is it a smooth, efficient workflow that sets your team up for success every day? Or is it a roadblock, something that's creating friction, errors, and wasted time? Because as we've just seen, there is a much, much better way.